All right, so I'm going to be putting a ceiling fan right in the middle of these 4 lights. So the easiest way to find those 4 points is with my level, my laser level. Just make sure you're hitting all your lights, and now you know your center point is here, which I have a little mark already. Hey, there's a little tiny fly up there. Now he's dead. But yeah, nice and simple. Just make sure your laser is lined up with everything and you get your point. Easy peasy. And if you don't have a laser that can do this, you can just line up this light to that light. Put a piece of tape up here or something so you can mark a center line right on your laser, and then move your laser so you're on that light and this light, and then intersect your lines, and that'll be your center. Now it's going to depend where the joists are up in here, if I can actually put this as my center mark, but I won't know that until I get my stud finder out. So I got my stud finder. So our stud is here, which is only 2 inches from our X. So that means the end of the stud is really close to this. So this means this is going to have to come off a few inches, which in the long run, I don't think you'll really notice. A couple of inches off center. We can still center from this way to this way. We just won't be able to center from there to there. The plan is to take the wire all the way down, cut a hole in the ceiling just above that, just before that crown molding, so we're able to drill down into the top plate. Take it all the way down into the basement, and then we're going to have to come out and figure out where we're going to put our switch for this. It needs to be on a switch circuit, so yep, that's the plan. All right, so this is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is going to be my center between these two and this one and this one. So in between these 4 puck lights, it's my center. Problem is there's a stud right here, a joist right here. So I found it with my stud finder. So there's definitely something there. Obviously my magnet is sticking to something, and it's weird because it's sticking all the way out here, all the way to there. So I have another one. I don't know where the other one went. There it is, under my stud finder. So you'll see how far apart these guys are sticking. So I don't know what's going on here. If they have 2 joists sistered together or what the deal is. But my plan is to run the line this way towards the wall and then down into the basement. And then I have to figure out a good spot for the switch. I'm thinking over here somewhere that I'm going to have to try to come up. The problem is this foundation is very thick. It's stone. So it's probably 18 inches or so. So the wall is much farther back than a traditional modern house. So I have to try to figure out somewhere it's going to be easy enough to get up the wall without cutting, but also convenient because there's stairs right here. So, I mean, I could try to get it on that wall right there at the bottom of the stairs, which may be my best spot. Somewhere right over here. That may be where I'm going to have to locate this. Just on the other side of that wall are the lights for, there's a switch that controls this receptacle down here. There's a switch that controls the outside porch light, and there's a switch that controls the hallway light on the other side of that. So I'm thinking I may just come on this side, just put the ceiling fan switch there, which probably won't be used because the fan is on. The fan is remote controlled, I believe. So we'll see. So what I need to do is I'm going to have to come off center. There's no getting by that. So I'm going to have to come back about here, about 2.5 to 3 inches off center, is the best I'm going to be able to get, because this here, see if you guys can see this. So this bolts onto this bracket. This is what you need for old work ceiling fan. When you twist this, when it's up in the wall, up in the ceiling, it extends this bar over here, which in turn locks this foot into the joists. There's some teeth on the side, and both of these rotate, so when you're spinning this, they'll stay level. You want these feet to be resting on the bottom of the drywall, or the top of the drywall, and then you spin this guy, and when you spin it, it tightens. So you really want to crank down on this so it gets a good bite into the ceiling joists, and this is what keeps your ceiling fan from falling on your head. So I need enough space that this can sit, and then the edge of the box. So if I take this bracket off, it's going to sit something like this. I got you guys on my hat. So I mean, obviously there's something there that this is magnetizing too. Even though it's saying this is the center of my stud with my stud finder, so somewhere in here is my center. So I'm going to have to cut, maybe if I cut right on the X, to center that up as best I can. And then hopefully that's going to be good. Because I don't want to make more cuts than I have to. So it's about 2 inches off center, so I think that's the best I'm going to be able to get it. Which I don't think is the end of the world. I don't think if I told you, you would notice. Alright. So, got my little boot around it. This is to help eliminate as much dust as I can. I've got a 4-inch hole saw. I'm going to try to center here. All right, looks about good. Oh, how much on hammer? And I put my handle on here because sometimes it snaps. And you can hear I'm going through more than just drywall there. All right. Well, let me show you guys what's up there. Besides that's not a good sign. It's one of them little helicopter leaves. So, right on a brace. Right on a brace. So that's what my magnets were hitting. So now I've got to get this brace out of the way. Fun. All right, I'm going to try to use my little Milwaukee cutter, but I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, I can that way. Because this is, I don't want to be, yeah, there's, I mean, something somehow was or is living up here. Or there's a big air leak. in either case, I don't want to be showering sparks everywhere. And this is a lot more controllable than just a traditional grinder. Let's see if I can use this. I might have to just get out my Sawzall. Yeah, it's still throwing a lot of sparks. I don't want to throw those sparks up there. So I'm gonna have to get my Sawzall. So I got my little hacksaw, the brand new metal blade. Hopefully these make short work of it. Yep. Good, easy peasy. Just bend this up out of the way. Grab my itty bitty hammer. Bend that up. All right, now we got a clean hole. Now, beautiful. Now, I gotta throw some sticks. Make sure I'm clear all the way down, which I should be. Joists are running this way. So I should be clear all the way down here. All right, so now we have to get down here. I'm gonna have to cut a hole out so I can get a driver down in there to be able to push my wire down the wall. So I'm gonna have to cut the ceiling over there. When I did these puck lights, I had to do the same thing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The ceiling still hasn't been painted since then. But there's a patch there and there's a patch here. So I'm gonna have to do the same thing here. Drop the wire down the wall and get it into the basement. But if you can see, this is about a 1/4 inch drywall and a 1/4 inch plaster. So this just destroys blades like it's going out of style. So here goes another $30 in blades to cut a hole. So I gotta grab my multi-tool, figure out exactly where I'm gonna go, and go from there. All right, so this is the stud bay I need to get into. Yep. And I marked my studs here. So I'm just gonna cut a hole out here. I'm gonna stay a little bit away from the crown molding, just so I have something to screw into when I put my backer board, screw this piece back up. But I'm a firm believer of, when I first started doing this, I would just cut the smallest hole possible and try to work with what I cut. But over the years, I just realized, like, if I'm going to cut a hole and have to fix it anyway, I might as well cut a hole that's comfortable to work in. You know, why cut a small hole and then realize you can't work in it and then have to cut a bigger hole? It's just more you have to fix instead of four edges. Now you've got 5, 6, whatever you have to cut out. It's just easier. I'm using this blade, which is like a bimetal blade, because of the plaster. If I try to use something that's regular for drywall or wood bit, we usually just munch right through drywall. But with this 1/4 inch of plaster up here, it's probably going to destroy this blade as well. But let's find out. There's no more blade there. It's completely gone. This blade is toast. Trying to spin the blade a bit so I can just try to use, that blade is hot too. Try to use which, a little bit of teeth left I have. That's not even close. Okay. Somebody's done some other work and just left their scraps up here. Okay, you can feel the top plate. So that's what we need to get down. So that's the next step. I'm going to use a probably 3/4 inch paddle bit. Just makes it easier. I could use a 1/2 inch easily, but yeah, maybe now you guys can get a better look on how thick. This is a easy 3/8. So it looks like they just used 1/4 inch. And then tried to level the ceiling with all this plaster. That's easy 3/8. And that's why my blades don't last at all when I'm doing any work in here. All right, let's grab a drill bit. I'm gonna try to give you guys a bird's eye view. If I can get this off. Stick a flashlight up there. How's that? You guys had a view like that before? So I'm going to need to, I can feel this is my top plate. So I couldn't find my 3/4 inch, of course. So I'm going to try to get down here. With the 7/8. So now I'm down in the wall. Yep. So now I need my handy dandy Magnepull, and I'm going to show you guys a trick. Okay, so what I've done is I have a string. It's a nylon string. You get them in buckets. I think the bucket's like 1,000 feet or something like that, 2,000 feet. But I have this going all the way back across the ceiling, coming out the hole on the other side, and I just have it tied off onto my hammer, just in case it decides to pull through. So this is a Magnepull. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down the hole, tie it onto the string, in hopes that it gets all the way to the floor. Hopefully there's nothing in the way here, no metal, that it's going to stick to. Like nails, because this magnet is super, super strong. Like ridiculously strong. All right, it's all the way down. So what I want to do now is I want to pull it up just a bit. Okay. Then I'm going to trap that string up with this, possibly, hopefully. Just get that to sit on there. There you go. So now that'll leave it suspended in the wall just probably a foot or so. And I'm going to go down in the basement, see if I can locate this point down in the basement, drill up, and see if we can't hook onto that. Okay, so what I did is I measured roughly where I'm at upstairs and transferred that down in the basement. I found the wire coming down the wall through the floor and followed that board to this location, and I am pretty sure if I drill somewhere in here I'm going to find that. I think I'm going to have to drill somewhere in this area here and hope I come up not in the floor. This is just an educated guess. This could go terribly wrong, but we're about to find out. That's drywall. So I just hit drywall. Now, which side of the drywall am I on? I still see wood there. So what I am is I'm through this board, and now maybe that was an underlayment. Nope. I thought that was wood that I saw, but that is definitely drywall. So now, which side of the drywall am I on? I think if I keep going this way, I'll be okay. I think I'm on the front edge. Possibly. I need to rethink this, boys and girls. I'm going to go back just a little bit more, because the wire I'm seeing on the other end is somewhere right around here. But then there's the baseboard, then drywall, and then I think I should be okay here, because I can see a conduit in this area, right where the end of my drill bit is. So that's probably in the center, so I'm just probably on the edge, but I don't want to put a wire down here. So for the future, if someone ever puts another baseboard up or something, bangs right through that wire. So I'm going to come back here. So I'll see if I can show you that conduit that I'm seeing. Because if we follow this all the way across here, that same board, and then you can see that conduit up there. So that conduit's coming down in between these two boards. So I'm going to assume that's where I need to be. But there's another wire farther down that I know where it comes down. I could see it physically up in the corner of the room on the floor. And that wire was around here, just about the front of the board. So I figured if I went about 2 inches back, I'd be okay. But I'm going to come back a bit farther and see where we go. Yep. That's the ticket. So it's just a bit, if I would have kept going there, I would have got into that bay where I wanted to. It's just too close to the end of the wall. Or like I said, if someone in the future ever pulls that baseboard off, puts a new baseboard on, they could go right through this wire. So now I'm up into there where I want to be. So I have my Magnepull on that string. Hopefully I'm up in the right bay. Now these are all just educated guesses, and you see I got my first guess just a bit wrong, but on the end you see I have a smaller Magnepull on a stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up the wall in hopes that the other Magnepull tracks this one and I can snap onto it. That's why I wanted to pull it up a little bit, so it had a bit of play up there. Now this is a lot easier if I had something flexible, more flexible than this stick, because I can't bend this stick around like I wanted to. So maybe what I'm going to do is get a piece of fish tape, push the fish tape up in there so I can twirl it around a bit more and get that moving around. The other option would be to sit this in the wall here and see if I can move the other Magnepull upstairs, jiggle it around a bit to click onto that. The other option, what I need to do is cut a hole in the wall upstairs so I can physically push this wire down this hole here, which I don't want to do. It's just one more thing that needs to be patched. So if I could spend a bit more time doing this, I would rather do that, because it's just less for people to have to fix. All right, so what I did is I grabbed a metal hanger, just put a loop on there so it's something more to grab onto, bent it slightly, and I'm going to see if I can get this up in the wall and finagle it around a bit. Now if you're going to do something like this, make sure you know there's no power in this wall. I think I'm hooked it. Yep, I hooked it. So now what I need to do is go upstairs and release it off of that tile. Not the tile, but the piece of ceiling that I have it hooked under. Okay, let's see what we got. I think we got a winner chicken dinner, boys and girls. If I can get this out of the hole with the magnet attached, that'll be the next feat. And it's right there. It's latching on as soon as I get up to that point. It's just inside there. So I think what's happening is it's sideways right now. Yeah, it's sitting flat. Which I'll never get it out if it's sitting flat. So what I could do is drill another hole beside it. It's probably going to be the easiest thing instead of fighting this, because if I was with somebody, I would have been done already, but I'm not, so I'm not. So I'm going to drill another hole right beside it to make this hole bigger so it has a chance to turn and come down. At least that's the theory anyway. course, it's moving sideways. So I gotta get this out of there before it chews up my bit, chews up my stick. All right. It's right there. I just can't get it. I don't want to drill the whole damn floor out. I wonder if I could push this up. And then use that hanger to grab the wire, grab the string as I blind myself. See if we can hook that. If we can hook it, we can pull it backwards. It's really hard to show you guys this and do it at the same time because I don't need the light. I'm just doing this by feel in the wall, but obviously you guys need light to see. Oh, there we go. That worked perfect. So now let me get this one through, get that one through, and there we go. Sometimes you got to improvise, boys and girls, but that just saved me from cutting a hole in my wall upstairs to drill down. So now the only patch I need to do is up on the ceiling. So now that we have it down here, we just need to figure out where we're going up. That's the next step. All right, so I came back upstairs just to tape this wire on. Got it taped in the string. String goes up there, all the way over and down. So now we'll see if I can get this pulled without having to come upstairs a million times. Hopefully. All right, let's see if we can pull this. There we go. Got it in the hole upstairs. Now it's coming through the wall. And now it's getting stuck right up here. But that's fine because I can just get my finger in there and guide it where it needs to go. There we go. There's our wire. There's our wire. So now we have wire going all the way up and coming out the hole where the ceiling fan is going to be. At this point, we can cut this wire and put it into a junction box wherever we want, or we could run it all the way to the switch. Because I'm still unsure where I'm getting power for the switch. So that's the next step. This step is done until we find out where we're going up for the switch. So I'm not sure if you guys can see what's going on over there. I'll try to zoom in. But this is what I was talking about. The foundation is super thick. It's all stone. It's an old foundation. Obviously you have the cinder block. But then on top of that is stone. I don't know if they use that for insulation or what their thinking is there, but there's literally no way I can get to the outside wall to put power where I want to put power. I would 100% have to break out a bunch of this stone, because if not, if I tried to go in as tight as I could to the stone, I would still wind up coming out of the floor. So we have to go to plan B. All right, so I have an idea. This middle switch is for a receptacle in the living room. So what I'm going to try to do is find this. It goes to that receptacle, and I'm going to directly wire in that receptacle. I don't know what kind of a mess I'm getting into back here. But it did switch the power off. Traced the wire for the receptacle into the panel and turned that off. And according to my Widowmaker, I should have no power in here anyway. Nothing on this switch at least. These things do that. I don't know why. They all do that. This is made by Milwaukee. I can't find my other one, so I just grabbed this one. So my assumption would be that there's a common in here. It's just jumped off to all three. Of course, my flashlight died. So, what? Why does this switch? Let's jump into here, from here to here. This is a mess. This needs to be sorted now. So just one more thing I have to fix now. All right. No power.
Are you still filming?
Yes. Wait a minute. Why is this on our hot leg? Where does this go? This goes to something else. What the hell does this go to? Oh, I see what they did. So this is our common. This is our line in. And they had it hooked directly to the center switch, which then branched off with this wire to the left switch, and then again to the right switch. This is kind of neutral. We have two lines out. One line out, so we have to eliminate this line out here, and this is going to go into our Wago that we're going to put there. So we're going to need to make some jumpers. And I recently bought some Wagos. I've never used them before, but we're going to try them today. You gotta love the wiring in old houses. I mean, you don't have to, but yeah. All right, let's get some jumpers made. So I have this wire all the way to my switch. My switch is wired, and this is hot. So it's off right now. And now it's live. All right, so the next thing we need to do, we need to get this bar up in there. And when we do this, we need to make sure we get this straight. All right, so we want these feet down. They're going to rest on top of the drywall. Which, of course, it fell over. We may have an issue because if you guys remember, I had to cut this strap off. If that other strap is right where this needs to sit, that's going to be a problem that I didn't think of. We'll see. No, I think it's good. Just got to make sure this is centered in here. That's critical, or your box won't fit. Try and get that as squared up as you can. Center of that hole. I don't know if you guys can see this. It looks pretty good. We'll find out when I try to put the box in there. So I'm not going to crank this down all the way. Just going to put it loosely in there. Just to put the bracket in. If I can remember where I put my bracket. Oh, I put it in the box. Imagine that, I put it away. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this wire back up in the wall, in the ceiling. And of course it just sprung somewhere there. Okay, it's up there. Good. I don't want to lose that and then I have to take all this out, find it again. Just need it to stay off to the side. So this top bracket here is just going to go in and pop over. I'm going to try to get that centered in your hole. This is when you'll tell if you're centered or not. That's perfect. So if you guys can see, my screws came straight through. So that's exactly what I want. All right, so now I pull this back out. Carefully push that bracket back off so I don't move the bar. And then just crank this guy down. You want to get this guy good and tight. So it really sinks those teeth into the joists. All right. I think that's good. Got a good bite. Okay. So you want to pop the knockout. And what we're going to do, gotta push this bushing in here. It'll just snap in if you feel so inclined. May have to finesse it. There you go. Make sure you drop your screws all over the place. That's required. So I've checked. Power's off. Just double check. Don't want to be touching a metal box. Pushing live power through it. So I just capped these because they were hanging out of the ceiling. Just in case somebody decided they wanted to come by and touch them. As you can see, I didn't strip the wire yet. So you just push these through. Get a good bit of wire through there. And we're going to push this up. Seat it in that cradle if we can. So it's just a bit off, has to come back just a little bit. Now there's some nuts that go in here. I find all the other ones that fell on the floor. Get both of those nuts in there. And at this point, once you crank these down, this by itself should be plenty to hold the ceiling fan. But we're just going to get those started. And then we're going to put the screws in. Just for some added support. You don't want to tighten any of these up yet until you get all four. Both of the nuts, both of the screws. Now once they're all started, you can crank them down. You don't have to crank these down like the Incredible Hulk. Just snug them up good. And that's all she wrote. Now you have a finished box.
Oh, I was like, where did they go?